Hello, I think we're live.
We'll find out, won't we?
I think we are. We'll just give everyone a second. Hi, I'm Jackie. This is Frank.
Pleasure to meet you.
And this is our first live stream, so have a little grace on us because we're just now figuring out how to actually go live on YouTube. We've done it on Facebook. Hi, I'm Jackie.
Oh,
this
cool.
Is Frank.
So we have
Pleasure to meet you. And this is our first live stream, so have a little grace on us because we're just now figuring out how to actually go live on YouTube. We've done it on Facebook. Hi, I'm Jackie.
This is
Frank.
It's Lucas.
And this is our first live stream, so
right?
have a little grace on us because. Oh wait, I think I know why. That's why.
You know what I should do? Should I start tap dancing
Where did
for
you
everybody?
just put it?
I didn't put it anywhere, sweetheart.
Where's the screen at?
Great guess.
Where's the screen?
Didn't it close? Did it not close?
I don't know.
There it is. There it is. But it says there's an error loading your app. Which app? Whatever. We got folks on. Oh, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, we're muted.
Okay.
Okay. So what do they say? They say that it's actually within the first minute or something like that.
We lose people.
We
So
lose people.
sorry.
So we've already lost 2 people.
But today we're going to talk to you guys a little bit about homeschooling because I've had a lot of questions about this and I figured we would just test out our live stream because that way we can answer any questions that we see come through on the live chat. And then also, of course, the recording will be available for those who want to watch it. But
may I say something?
Yeah.
All right. So first of all, we want you guys to understand, since we have this opportunity to just do this live stream, and the video will be available for you if you're watching the replay. By the way, hi if you're watching the replay. We want you to be able to connect with us in a much more deep way. We don't want to like have this just be something where like we're just uploading videos only. So we're going to come on here. We're going to probably shoot for probably once a week was my thought.
Do a live stream.
And be able to do like maybe some question and answer session and things like that. Long story short is that we're talking about the Paleo Mama here, right? And so like we don't want you to think that this is just like a farming homestead page. That's just one piece of what we are going to bring to you in terms of all of the content that we want to bring to you. So think like diet. We're going to talk about movement. We're going to talk about the farm. We're going to have the animals on there. We're going to talk about what we do with our kids. We just want to help you be able to peer into our lives, and we want to educate, enrich, and really just entertain you like as if you're just another member of our family. And so we're going to come at you with a bunch of different content. Subscribe to us because you'll get all of that great content. So you'll get our farm videos, you'll get our homesteading or schooling videos, if you will. You'll get do-it-yourself recipes. You'll end up getting like a lot of the stuff that she's developed over the years with like, different products that she's made. You'll get all of that great content. So we want to like have it to where you just really get to know us and that you really get to know everything that the Paleo Mama, Jackie, and Frank are all about. And so by all means below, push that subscribe button. Make sure that you're following us. Check out the Paleo Mama website at www.thepaleomama.com. And by all means, just become part of our family. So make sure that you subscribe.
Yeah. And one of our subscribers in the next week, I'm assuming when we hit 5,000, is going to get an amazing giveaway valued at about $200. So we'll announce that awesome once we get closer to it. But I just want to make sure that you guys knew that. So, all right, we're here to talk about homeschooling and our routine and what we do and what curriculum we use. So first of all, I want to say that I gave up homeschooling one year. Remember that year where I said, you know what, I'm just going to put them in public school. And I think it was because I just did not find my groove. And I was the constant comparison mom. So like comparing myself to what other moms were doing, and I'm not doing enough. I'm not doing it well. I'm holding on a full-time job at home. It was a year where my husband was at work and I was really building the Paleo Mama brand, and I had 2 little ones. So I really, really want to emphasize that you have to find a community. It's really hard to do it on your own without a support group of some kind, even if it is just a Facebook group. If you're rural and you're far away from, people, then even just connecting online with other people who are homeschooling, getting that support as a mom, as a dad. A lot of people don't know this past year, Frank did most of the homeschooling. So whether you're a mom or dad or caregiver, guardian, you need that constant support feeding you, because we all know if mommy's tired, then everyone's going to be tired and nothing's going to get done. And you need to take care of yourself first and foremost. Second of all, once you find something that you like, you got to remember that things can change. Kids change, so for my daughter, she was an excellent reader. She learned how to read and I barely taught her. Do you remember, we taught her phonics and sounds, and that was it. She took off, and by second grade, she was reading these thick novels. My son, on the other hand, is a completely different story. So we are still reminding him what the sounds are and phonics are, and he's somewhere in between first and second grade. So you got to remember your kids are different. And so if you're teaching multiple kids, that you really, one kind of curriculum or one kind of textbook might not work on the other child. And it's totally okay. We all know that we learn in different ways. So my son and myself, we're very visual learners. So when he's doing math, I have to write it out for him. I have to draw pictures. I have to draw lines and numbers and fingers and all that good stuff. My daughter, on the other hand, she's such a, what is it called? An analytical processor, like him. You can just do it in her brain, and it just amazes me. So we're all different.
But if I may say something about that, the fact of the matter is that you may in fact look at your kids and say the person that, the child that's a little bit more of a self-starter and analytical isn't always necessarily the better kid.
No.
Both of them have this innate ability to really deconstruct things. I really still feel that our son is going to probably grow up and be some sort of an engineer because he loves to see how things work.
And putting them together.
And so that in lies the challenge as a parent, is that you don't want to just, move away from that child who might be that one who can kind of get things on their own and they can actually self-teach. Because with that being said, they can maybe have more disciplinary problems or, kind of act a little bit more in that sense of accelerated in their age. I jokingly will say often that my daughter is 8 going on 18 or something like that. The reason being is because we love the type A analytical mind that she has, but with that being said, is we don't want her to become this overbearing adult. And so, we have to focus on maybe those different types of aspects, not just the academic, but look at the social and emotional and, the spiritual, if you will. And with my son, the payoff is going to be awesome, because once we have him understand hey, this is how this works and this is why you need it, I see the payoff. And so you have to approach each child with a really good understanding of how their personality works and to be able to play to the strengths of their personality.
Yeah, and that's why the book, The 5 Love Languages for Your Children, is an excellent book, because that also just teaches you how they give and receive love. And so you're going to be around your kids a lot during homeschooling. And so it's just really important just to know that, to speak their love language and do it through homeschooling is a very, very powerful way to reach them. They're going to want to learn. They're going to be really hungry to learn if you do it that way. So, all right. So my son is just turned 7. So he's always been in between that. Should we start him in kindergarten or should we hold him back? So we decided to start him. And so technically he is finishing up first grade, right? We would consider him finishing
he's bridging
first grade.
between first and second grade.
He's got a third of his math book from first grade left and some reading left. The really great thing about homeschooling is you can homeschool year round if you want and take more breaks. You can take a big break if you want to. So a lot of you know this last year we lived in an RV and we traveled around the United States. I considered us predominantly unschooling during that time. Unschooling, there's 5 different methods of homeschooling. There's traditional, there's unit studies, there's classical, there's unschooling, and then there's Charlotte Mason. So those are the 5 methods that people do of homeschooling. And I also want to tell you guys before, I was not going to tell those 5 methods because I don't want you to put yourself into a box. I pull pieces from all of those. And so that's why I don't say like we're 100% unschooling during that time, because we also did reading curriculum and math curriculum. And at the end of the year, my daughter started to do more science, right? Mm-hmm. But the reason why we didn't put a focus on those subjects, especially geography, science, and history during that year is because we were traveling so much and they were already getting that from the learning experiences around them. And so that's what unschooling is. It's kind of learning every single day through every moment. And then if somebody shows an interest in, butterflies or cougars, you dive into that and you really explore what they're really passionate about. And so we do a lot of unschooling, but we also follow a very Charlotte Mason approach. And so Charlotte Mason is a lady who in her 1800s, 1900s, who really created living school. And so it's where you find life and passion and books come alive, and you don't just read a textbook. And I love this because how boring is it just to read a textbook? So instead of reading a textbook about the Romans, for instance, my daughter is going to be reading a book about the Romans, and it's a fiction book, but it's loaded with facts, it's loaded with history, it's loaded with geography about the Romans. And so that is what Charlotte Mason approach is. I also love the Charlotte Mason approach because it clumps the kids in together. So for science and Bible and history and geography, we'll be doing it all together as a family. And I know a lot of you guys are wondering, how long does it take to homeschool? On a very good day, we got our school done in about 45 minutes.
Seriously. Yeah, so, it was awesome, guys. I mean, like, let's just face it, when kiddos go to public school, there is quite a bit of filler, mm-hmm. Like they get like, recess in elementary school. Of course, that starts kind of going away and becomes like physical education.
And you're waiting on other kids who are a little bit slower than you.
Yeah. So like, it's all good, but like the way that I see it, and trust me, the teachers that do public education, my goodness, my hat's off to you, because that is an extraordinarily underpaid, underappreciated career in our society. I still feel that teachers, and me being the guy who was in the military, I feel like teachers and people who protect us should probably be the most well-paid people in the entire country. But regardless, is that it seems that often it's sort of like becoming this mentality that it's like this big cattle drive, if you will. Like we're trying to like take these kiddos and just kind of check the boxes with them and, hope that they're getting the education necessary to move them on, and we're starting to do a lot of testing the child to a test instead of like allowing the kid to have the capability of sort of like just really expanding their minds and moving toward like the things that move them. And so I think the really great thing about the Charlotte Mason approach and some of these other approaches that we've adopted is that it allows our kids to sort of like just flourish in the sense of we're really starting to figure out kind of like who they are. Like I said, I wouldn't know when I said that I think my son's going to end up grow up to be an engineer. I don't think I would know that if I didn't have that ability to be with him every single day and see the personality and the fact that he likes to deconstruct things the way he does. Mm-hmm. And he just loves to see, how it works.
Yeah.
I'm going to check the chat box.
I don't know how to check it.
I'm going to go ahead and pull it up on my computer.
We'll check the chat box during this and we'll answer all the questions, I promise. So,
we'll try to.
So my son is technically in 2nd grade. We've adopted more of a Charlotte Mason approach as we are home now. We're not on the road. We're not getting a lot of, geographical life experiences and history and museums like we used to. So we are going to do a little bit more of, you know, the Charlotte Mason approach. And so I have used Charlotte Mason since my daughter went into kindergarten. And I've tried traditional, you know, I've sent them to traditional school. We've done unit studies. So the first year my daughter went into kindergarten, which, by the way, you don't need any curriculum for kindergarten, but I made the mistake of ordering a very expensive $600 curriculum that was all inclusive, had everything you had to do day by day, all the worksheets, which I'm not a fan of worksheets either. So that's another thing of Charlotte Mason and unschooling. And I just got so overwhelmed with it. And I'm very lucky because it was in the middle of her kindergarten year when we were doing this curriculum, take us 3 hours, kindergartner, and fighting and trying to get her to, you know, bribing her to do it. It was horrible. Threw it all out. And that's when we realized kindergarten, you only need to be reading to them. And that's when I found Charlotte Mason. And so the approach is very amazing. If you go to simplycharlottemason.com, that is the curriculum. That I don't even like calling it curriculum. Yeah. It's more like guides. Like it's guides. It's not curriculum. Yeah. There's no worksheets that the kids have to do. And it's more of just guidelines for you to follow, prompts, so to say. Because sometimes as, you know, teachers and educators, even parents, we need prompts like, what do I do? So my son is, you know, we're going to call him a second grader at this point, and he is doing his own individual study. So I got this off of Simply Charlotte Mason. This is their language, arts, math, and science all in one. So you need a separate math book, but this is pretty much just a lesson plan. For instance, like on, let's go to lesson 1, because I know I'll have the stuff I need. It gives you a idea of what your week would look like. These are the foundations. You know, I feel like this is like the most important for kids in elementary school. So these are definitely the foundations you want to make sure that you're doing every single day in order to grow them. And so handwriting is a big part of Charlotte Mason. It's called copy work. It's where they copy a poem or a Bible verse, and you really just pay attention and really help them perfect that copy work that they're doing. We've done copy work since my daughter was in kindergarten now, and now my daughter has passed cursive, and she's going into 4th grade, and now we're moving on to typing with her. So I'm really excited. I love watching the growth that they're all doing. So this just shows you, you know, you'll do math every day. You need a separate math book. And so after trying all different kinds of math curriculums, I went back to what I grew up with, which is Abeka. Abeka math is workbook style. It is traditional arithmetic, but I just find this to be the best for them. It's the kind of arithmetic that I grew up with. It's not Common Core, which I don't understand. I can't grasp it. I don't know how to do that kind of math. And so a lot of the books that you would buy from the store are Common Core fundamentals. And if you didn't grow up with that, you're going to be super confused and not understand how to do it. Plus, I really feel like this old school arithmetic is like, you know, the best kind. So we use Abeka right there. Math curriculum, and that's really the only thing other than her cursive book that we purchased from Abeka.
And this is like, I mean, this, guys, it is really great. That you know, they have this cliche. It's called like, you know, when you teach, you learn twice. There is like stuff in here that I have since forgotten.
Long division. I forgot how to do it.
And it reminds me of yeah, that was big. I had to reteach myself long division because Seriously. We've gotten so used to calculators, right? And so like it's been really cool to use these as well, because I feel like, you know, I should be on that show, Jeff Foxworthy's show, Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Yes.
Because there has been times where I have been stumped and I'm like, wait a second, okay, how do those Roman numerals work again? So yeah, there's a lot of really great stuff in here, and you will see some unbelievable sparks of intelligence in your kids by challenging them in a good way with books like this. I really do like these Abeka books. They're great.
We like it. We have done online math, and I thought I would love that, but I don't love it at all. I don't love it, and my kids had to end up writing it out anyway. And you're supposed to with a lot of, so Khan Academy is one that we used. Easy peasy curriculum we used a lot in the RV. But I don't like, personally, I just don't like online curriculum. I like having it written out in books, and I like seeing it. Plus, if the internet's not working, which was very common.
But with that being said, we do allow them to do some online learning tools. Absolutely. Because let's face it, technology is not going away. And so we have got to make sure that, you know, it's like we're finding that nice balance. It's like, yes, they're doing the textbook related stuff where they're reading and writing and all that sort of thing. But 100%, we need to adopt technology. We don't want them to be left in the prehistoric age of technology.
They know how to use,
you know, with the days of VCRs and answering machines and those sorts of things. By the way, this is a side note, and you'll get a lot of these from me. When was the last time you guys had to fax something? And do you know how difficult it is to find a fax machine?
It is for us because
it's hard because we're a little bit more rural. We're a little bit more rural, but it's just not one of those things that we even think about anymore. We're like, ooh, who even has a fax machine, right?
We hate driving 10 minutes to get into town.
But regardless, I say all that because you want to make sure that your kids do, in fact, have access to the internet. Just make sure that it's like the educational stuff, you know what I mean? Like they need to know how to manipulate and do all those things online, because the more and more the time goes by, the less and less that we are seeing written things. So we definitely make sure that we get a nice blend between the two.
Okay, so for Frankie in 2nd grade, individual studies that he does on his own is math, copy work. Okay, this is copy work. You don't have to buy this if you don't want to. I love it. Copy work is where they really perfect their handwriting, and they will copy underneath the word. And they only do like 2 pages a day, because instead of like quantity, you want quality. And so you really just perfect their handwriting. They work on this every single day. And I love this. And then we also, for Ariana, we did volume 1, 2, and 3.
Sure.
And she flew through it though. Yeah. Also for individual studies is the language arts, which, you know, you're really just learning with them. Let me look in here. Yeah, so the language arts is reading. And the reading book for Frankie is, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of the Pathway Finders. Is that the name of it? Pathway Finders, right? Yep. Pathway, right here. We use these with Ariana, and this is actually the books that I adore and taught her how to read. She took off with these books. So these are the 2nd grade Pathway Finders, Busy Times and More Busy Times. And this individual study lesson plan will give you an idea of how many pages he'll read per day. And so here's an idea from the very first book for 2nd grade on where they should be. These were written by Amish communities. And so they have just this really adorableness to them, especially us on the farm. They're a lot about animals on the farm and cows. And so we just adore this. What I love about the Pathway Finder readers is that, what's the right word, where they build off of each other. And so each chapter adds another level to their vocabulary and spelling and phonics. And so by the time they get to the end of the book, you know, most every word becomes a sight word for them because they've read it. It's repetition. They read it over and over and over. And so I adore the Pathway Finders. The 3 1st grade books we also are still on. It's over there.
I think it's Days Go By.
Days Go By. More days go by.
Yeah, like that.
And then like even more days go by or something like that. Yeah. So these are the 2nd grade Pathway Finder books.
And you would think that all the repetition on these books is like going to be mundane or boring or something like that, they're able to still do a pretty good job of like being able to tell a story. You know what I mean? So like they're still fairly engaging, and
we laugh all the time.
You can ask really at the end of the chapter, like, what did we read about? Yeah. Who's Prince? Who's this? Who's that? And different character things, and the kids can pick that stuff up because they're still telling a story too.
So that's language arts for Frankie, our second grader. And then from that, we ask for, all right, what did you just read about? Like Frank just said, we ask for recitation just to make sure that they are comprehending what they're reading. Now, if copy work, if this looks too easy for your second grader, then what's recommended is using this book right here. This is called Writing with Phonics. And it's the intro to cursive writing. You can see like this is some of my daughter's work. Cursive in second grade.
Oh, wow.
Yep. So my son is not advanced enough to do this. So we probably won't get to this year at all. Maybe in third grade, we'll get to cursive with him, which is when we got to it with my daughter. But I'm holding off on that one.
And we know that cursive is falling out of favor. We understand that like a lot of public schools, it's not really there anymore. But the fact of the matter is that I think I should have started off with this, but I'll just say it really fast now, is that we as adults, or I should say we as human beings, actually learn in a bunch of different ways, right? Some, like Jackie spoke of, are visual, some are auditory, but a lot of us are kinesthetic, which means that we have to learn by doing. And so I can write, if you will, on a screen or something like that, and by all means, it's not going to be the same per se if I have an actual writing utensil in my hand with a sheet of paper and I'm writing it, kind of like what you want to call the old school way. So like we need to focus when we're homeschooling, just as the fact of the matter is that like I've been, an instructor in adult education. I am a physician assistant, and I was teaching physician assistant school. Say that 5 times fast. And so I had the capability of being able to see like, okay, well, I know I have visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learners. And so like, I want to make sure that I'm engaging all of those different types of learning styles. And it really is nice when you're homeschooling, is because you can figure out what is that particular learning style that your children actually have. So like my daughter's a lot like me. I'm auditory. I can hear something and I can make sense of it pretty quickly. Whereas, my wife and my son are visual. They have to, but then the biggest thing is that there's a commonality here. The kinesthetic piece is still there. So like we both all understand how to learn by doing.
Yeah.
And so it's really nice to be able to have all of that, is that even the cursive, oh, wow, it's not really taught much anymore. It's really nice because doing that helps you understand handwriting and grammar and sentence structure and all these different things as well.
Definitely. All right, so now we'll move on to the individual studies that we're doing for our fourth grader. We bought once again, the individual studies lesson plan book from simplycharlottemason.com. And this is just lesson plan prompts. That's all it is. It just tells you kind of what to do every single day with math, with spelling, and language, and then also science, which I'll move on to because we actually do that together as a family. So for her math book, we are using, we're using Arithmetic 4, and this is from Abeka. I love just saying arithmetic because we don't say it anymore these days. So yeah, we say math and all that good stuff. But anyways, Arithmetic 4 is, I'm just going to show you guys so you can actually see just an idea of,
Was that like halfway through the book?
It's about a third of the way through. You can go on abeka.com and get a sample to see maybe where your child is at. And once again, the label of the grade is not important. If your son is in 4th grade yet still doing 3rd grade math, that's totally okay. What is more important than keeping up with the Joneses is that your child is actually learning. And so that's another thing that I've learned through my 4 years of homeschooling, is that I don't even like saying what grade they're in sometimes, because I don't really, it's so mixed. My son's still doing 1st grade math, yet he's doing 2nd grade, other things. So, and that's totally okay. So she'll be doing Abeka Arithmetic 4. And then for 4th grade, it has a separate book you can get on Simply Charlotte Mason that goes along with their individual studies on spelling and also different language arts. And so you'll see, let's see, like this one. Let me see. I don't actually know what they're supposed to do with these. I think they're supposed to write these out again. But it just has different exercises. It might be memorization. It might be writing it out, or the book might tell us to circle the nouns or the pronouns, wherever she is in that. So that goes with it. And that is her math. That is her language arts. And then for 4th grade, we're adding in typing. So she's already gone through cursive. We're definitely going to keep working on that and nurturing it. But we're also going to add in a typing program for her. I don't know one. I actually haven't even researched which one we're going to use yet. So if anyone knows an awesome typing program, let us know, because I'm more than willing to dive into that. I don't even know yet. So that is their individual studies. That's what they'll do on their own. Ariana can pretty much do all of her school on her own. She might need help with math from time to time, or learning some of the new concepts that she's that the book's teaching her. But she really goes into her room and she does her individual studies alone. Now, what's really great with multiple kids is you can combine science and history and geography, and if you do Bible, you can combine that. So we are combining our science. And it's going to be, what are we learning about this year? So we are learning about birds. And if you guys have never read any of the Burgess books, they have them in all different kinds of animals. They're absolutely adorable. I think I cried a few times reading some of these stories. But it's diving into learning about the individual type of birds that there are. But once again, it's not textbook, it's a story. And like, you seem to be in a hurry, so don't let me detain you, Peter. And it's just a conversation between birds, and it just comes alive for them. That's why this is called a living book. Their education comes alive, and they just want to keep learning more and more about it. So we'll be doing this probably the first term. We'll be learning about birds. And I have a book from Simply Charlotte Mason that goes with it. And all this does, it just gives me an idea day to day, what to read. And science is probably, let me see, twice a week we'll do science. We're not doing science every day. And we'll have a field guide, a bird field guide that goes along with this. We'll go bird watching. And then we also have this awesome, I got this off Amazon by Lisa Bonfort. It's 50 favorite birds coloring book. And this book from Simply Charlotte Mason gave me all the additional books that I needed to order with it. So so there's no guesswork. Like, you don't have to go out and figure out what you have to order. That's what I love about Simply Charlotte Mason. So that was science, and those are our individual studies. And then now for our history, geography, and we do Bible. We decided to start with the New Testament, Matthew through Acts, and ancient Rome. And this is also from Simply Charlotte Mason. There's how to spell it if you guys need an idea how to spell it.
I'll put it in the chat.
Okay, simplycharlottemason.com. And so this is going to bring us our history and our geography and our Bible, and it's all going to come to life for us. And we're going to do this together as a family. And this kind of tells you books to go along with it. So we are, because this kind of took place in, well, why is Europe there? But anyways, we're doing the Europe geography with it, which is really cool. It has some of the maps on there. And geography is only 1 day a week. But the really fun part is that we are going to be learning about families in Europe and in those areas in the Bible that we're reading about. And we're going to be learning about like what they eat as well. We'll be making some of the meals that they make, and possibly going to museums if there's any around here that have some of the things in there. And then if you want, from Simply Charlotte Mason, since we're going to be learning about Rome, they have these awesome little artifacts that you can get, which has pictures on it of different things in Rome, you know, different landmarks that you can kind of dive into and study about.
I know what that is.
What is it?
It's an aqueduct.
Oh, that is an aqueduct. Yep. So here's another one. What's that?
Oh, come on. Emperor Caesar? Is that Caesar?
It doesn't say.
Let me see.
It definitely looks like Caesar.
I got to figure it out. See, this is why I say that when you teach, you learn twice, because you recognize something. You're like, oh, I know what that is. And then you forget what it was. And then it makes you go back and look.
So what I really like about the history, Bible, and geography book from Simply Charlotte Mason, it combines it all. So you're learning and everything's coming to life for you. And I'll show you guys a lesson plan, a day-to-day kind of thing that gives us an idea.
Nope, that's actually, it's Augustus.
Oh.
That's Augustus. Thank you, Dr. Google. See, this is why we have a computer room too.
So this is kind of what we'll be doing. We'll be doing Bible, geography, and history. That's kind of how you go about doing it. And these are not long. These are like really 10, 15-minute long lessons that you do together as a family through the living books that you come along. And of course, my daughter will be reading this as well to go along with it. But that's pretty much all I have, all we're doing. A really cool thing about Charlotte Mason is they encourage enrichment studies like art and music and Shakespeare, you know, and poetry and what else? Learning an instrument. So all of that's really encouraged through the Charlotte Mason approach, which is considered enrichment to, you know, these things that we're doing. I don't estimate this will take us, you know, too long on a day-to-day basis to get through, but it'll be a fun learning experience for all of us.
And we often have the capability of sort of flexing the curriculum. We're actually have been considering to like maybe also do a little bit of teaching during the summer, like, you know, besides just like what we're doing right now, which is like the bridge to make sure that they don't lose their math skill and don't lose their reading skill and stuff like that. But if we get sidetracked and like all of a sudden, like, you know, like our son is very interested in dinosaurs, of course, with like Jurassic World being around and stuff like that. So now he has like this huge like interest in dinosaurs. So we can always do like a short study on dinosaurs, or, you know, say they get interested in the solar system or something like that. We can totally learn these things. And when we were traveling, museums are amazing, guys. I mean, there was things that I learned about the Revolutionary War that I never even could imagine that I have ever learned in a textbook or in a classroom. Yeah. It was really nice to actually be able to be out and walk. I actually walked like Paul Revere's ride and stuff like that. So it was really, really cool. And then what's great is that they always have books and stuff like that that you can do. You know, those as well. But if you can get out every once in a while, travel, go see museums. If you're living in national parks and stuff like that, great opportunity to get out and get a lot of that science stuff. Especially with national parks, they also have like ranger walks and stuff like that.
We did really, all the the junior ranger programs are amazing. And I think the kids earn like 10 to 15 badges.
Absolutely. Yeah, they have a junior ranger program that's amazing.
Yeah.
So if you live near national parks, then go ahead and go do that. But if you don't have that luxury, then just get into your museums of local cities and stuff like that if you live around one. And those are really great field trips. You know, like you treat them as field trips. It's a way to get out and not have to, you know, work through what you're working through with your curriculum. So.
And the really great thing, I think, most of all about homeschooling is that one of my biggest dreams was to be able to teach my kids how to read, because my mom did that for me. And so it has been so rewarding just to be able to do that for them, and also just to invest in their lives. I had a meltdown the other night because you don't remember? No. When I was like, Ariana's 9 and I'm halfway through her. Yeah. I mean, I was in tears just thinking that I am already halfway through her childhood. Like, she's going to be 18 in 9 years. And that just went by so unbelievably fast. And I just want to continue to invest in their lives for the 9 years left of her life that I have her at home with me. And I love being able to do this for them. It's an amazing opportunity that God's given us and blessed us with. I know not everyone's able to do it, but you, even in the small amounts of time that you might be able to, teach them when they come home, or when you have to do homework with them, just being able to invest in their learning experience is just so rewarding. When you have big life changes, maybe you have a baby, or you want to go on vacation in the middle of October when it's really great to go to Disney World because nobody else is there. You can take time off school and do that because you create your own schedule. As long as you're doing 180 days, is that it? Of school?
Yep.
Then it doesn't matter what days you do them on. We have done school on Sundays. We've done school on Saturdays when we've taken Mondays or Tuesdays off. So I love that flexibility. And it's just really, really great to be able to create our own schedule. So is there any other questions?
We are good.
Looks like you and John are chatting.
We are
very greatly.
We are. So once again, looks like we'll probably be doing these to start off every Wednesday. And so if you want to make sure that you get a message by, once again, click down below.
If you subscribe, you'll get a reminder. I just got one on my computer.
And we will definitely help you farm school as well. So we're going to be doing lots of great material and content on how to raise goats, how to raise chickens, how to raise cattle, how to raise little ones around all of these things. And we'll even get into some specifics, like really interesting things that we hope to teach both you and your family about, to be able to go out and say, oh, I know about that. We saw that on so-and-so. And so we really just want to share all of these experiences with you. So by all means, the best way to do that, subscribe. All right. You have to make sure that you subscribe. So anyway, we will be looking forward to the next one. Who knows what we're going to do it on, but stay tuned. And I can't even begin to thank you so much for sharing that with all of us.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
She's so good, by the way. She's taught me how to even do this. And I embraced it. I cannot wait to be able to share all of these wonderful things. So think about it: DIY recipes, homeschooling stuff, whatever we do with our dogs, whatever we do with our cows, we'll be able to show you all of that. So that's our entire goal with this channel. And we love you guys. We love our YouTube folks already. And we love anybody who's watching this video and decides to join us in our journey. So thank you so much, guys, for joining us.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you next Wednesday live. But we also do post Monday through...
We do it 6 days a week.
Saturday?
6 days a week.
Oh, no, we don't post on Monday. So Tuesday through Sunday.
We will post Tuesdays through Sundays.
Tuesday through Sunday. All right. So stay tuned for tomorrow's video, and we'll see you live next Wednesday.
Bye-bye.
Bye.